Abraham, I love to walk. In fact, I walked during the lunch, and it's a real nice day outside. But it's become a very important thing that I do. I do a lot of good thinking. And sometimes I reach really high states of exhilaration. You know, you feel very connected. You feel very joyous. You feel all is right. Two questions about that. One, is that like a peak condition that I should maybe get once in a while, or is that something that maybe I could expect down the line as I get more and more into this, that I might feel that way all the time?
Well, let's talk about what it is that is happening that is bringing that wonderful feeling about. There is variety in that which you are seeing. It is often that which is pleasing for you to see. By extending your body in the way that you are breathing more deeply. So it is a combination of focusing on things that allow your connection. And there are many who acknowledge, and we want to acknowledge it as well, that your connection to Source is often evidenced through breath. So the combination of the clear thoughts, the variety of things that you're thinking about. Now, someone could take a walk and stew on something that's bothering them and have a very different experience than what you are describing. So the walking in and of itself is not magic, but it does cause you to focus in ways that are more connecting in nature. And the answer to your question is yes. Anytime you have achieved some activity that has components that you can identify, that you are deliberately doing, we think that you can expect the sensation of connection to come on a more consistent basis as you more deliberately apply techniques that you know make you feel connected.
That leads me to my second question, because walking, I do it all year round, but it can be dependent on weather. Particularly, we went through August, and period was very hot, and then it was very rainy, and it just was not conducive to walking. And I've not been able to get that same feeling. I meditate in the morning sometimes, but I've not been able to get that same feeling a lot doing other things. And I started to miss that because I couldn't get out like I wanted to. And could you suggest some alternatives or other ways of achieving that in the times when I can't walk, or when it's not good to get outside?
Well, you could find something to focus upon that is pleasing to you, and at the same time concentrate upon deep breathing, and you would achieve the same thing. But it is easier to ask your body to do something that asks for more breathing than it is to just ask your body for more breathing. In other words, it is much easier to achieve deep breath because your body is requiring it than to sit in a chair and concentrate on deep breath. So we would encourage you to find some place that's conducive to walks. Find some indoor place, or even some place that you could even stand in place, even a treadmill or something of that nature. It is the motion of your body in combination with a thought that is focused in non-resistance that is the recipe that you're looking for. So what you might say to yourself is, I want to find something pleasing to think about at the same time that I move my body. And we think all kinds of ideas will come to you. You would get the same sort of exhilaration from almost any physical exercise that you might offer that you are enjoying.
Some of those, though, I guess I have to get. I used to do martial arts, and that seems to be all of a sudden presenting itself to me again. But it sometimes requires a different kind of concentration, which doesn't. I like just to be able to be in a situation where my mind can just wander.
There is a state of relaxed focus where things that you have been pondering can begin to flow. In other words, we've been talking about how there are three parts to this process. The first is ask. The second is what you are asking is answered. And the third is that you relax and allow the answer to flow forth. And that is the perfect recipe for the creation of anything. So You never stop asking. There are things that you're wondering about, things that life experience is bringing to you, questions that are being formulated all the time. When you are walking, it's like setting the time aside that says, there's not something else that I need to be doing right now that is going to require my concentration. So it's almost like saying, I'm setting myself up for a relaxed condition that is conducive to the smooth, comfortable, sweet flow of thought. It is the reason we believe that Esther enjoys driving so much, because driving is something that she feels she's accomplishing something. So she lets herself off the hook and doesn't block it by saying, I'm wasting time. But the activity of driving does not require focusing in the way that some other things do. So it's this lovely twilight zone sort of place where thoughts can flow, and she allows them to flow because she's not resisting them by condemning her absence of doing something else. And we think that that's what you're talking about, too.
Yes, that's a definite alternative, because I drove about 230 miles to come here, and I did that driving here. I'm purposely taking a leisurely way on the way home to do that exact thing.
Good, yes.
Thank you. And I guess I said other than just to say that I was here a year ago and spoke with you, and in that time my situation has improved dramatically. I've had great success, and I thank you very much.
Oh, it's the way it is supposed to be for you.
Good. I'll accept that, yes. Thank you, Abraham.
You have come forth into a creative environment at a time when the energy is moving faster than we've ever seen it, any time, any place, anywhere. You are a creative genius. You said, I want to be part of this fast-moving energy. I adore an environment where there is so much variety to choose from. And I will pay attention, you said, to the way I feel. And I will mold the energy. I will mold my thoughts. I will pick and choose by trial and error. I will feel my way into alignment with who I am. And after I am aligned, I will flow that energy toward what I choose. And Source will assist me in all ways. There is so much resource assisting you. You are very much not alone. You are the focal point of the energy that creates worlds. And all that energy and all that source adores you and will give you evidence in every moment of every day, if you will allow it, to help you to know the perfection that we know you are. Jerry and Esther have recently been working on taking the Sarah book, and Jerry read it into a recorder many times. And then they edit it into the CDs and cassettes that they are making available to you. And someone had written them a letter knowing how much Esther likes the alignment of numbers. She sees it as evidence of her well-being. When she looks at the odometer and sees 11111, she loves that she has been inspired to look just at that moment. So they are listening to the recording, driving down the freeway. And Sarah has just awakened in the story, and she has looked at her digital clock, which reads 111. She doesn't know why she's awake, but she enjoys the coincidence of seeing 111, and she goes back to sleep. And in a few more moments, she wakes up and sees 222 on the clock. And then she goes back to sleep and wakes up again and sees 333 on the clock. Now this gets her attention. And as Jerry and Esther are listening to the recording, first time they are hearing it as they are driving the monster bus, they are at mile marker 333. And Esther says, I adore how the universe is able to orchestrate these things, to make the timing of our life so apparent to us. But there is an even stranger coincidence, as if there could be such a thing as a coincidence. So a woman wrote to them, I think it is lovely, she said, that the Sarah book ended on page 222. And Esther said to Jerry, I was not aware of that, were you? And then Jerry recorded for days the Sarah 3 book. And then Esther took all of the pieces of his recording and put them together, taking this best paragraph and this best paragraph, the best reading that she could find, and pieced it all together and made the chapters 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, in order to decide how much sound would go on each recording, she said, I'm going to make one long document, and then I will divide it into 3 or 4 pieces. And when she pieced all of the chapters together, the length of the recording across her sound machine said 222 minutes and 22.22 seconds. And Esther said, this is freaky. She doesn't mean freaky. She means this is spectacular. She means this is amazing. She means this defies logic. She means this is bigger than my mind can conceive. She means source energy is aware of us. She means source energy knows how much we like these things and guides us in increments, moment by moment, over weeks and weeks of a project in order to give us that moment of high at the end culmination that pleases us for no other reason than that it is pleasing to us slightly in the moment. Can you understand how much well-being is flowing to you? Do you understand how much orchestration is available to you? Do you understand how adored you are? Do you understand how the creation of this planet, the creation of this universe, do you understand how it all fits together for the perfection of your experience? Do you understand how beloved you are, how blessed you are, how adored you are, what an integral part of this creative process you are? We want you to. We want you to begin to understand the blessed nature of your being, and we want you to begin to look for the evidence of it because we are showing it to you in every moment that you will allow yourselves to see it. Not just in lining up numbers, but in lining up lovers, in lining up money, in lining up fulfilling experiences, in lining up beautiful things for you to see, in lining up circumstances and events, in lining up amazing co-creative experiences where you are rendezvousing with one another for no other reason other than for the fantastically important reason of fulfilling you and satisfying you and pleasing you and giving you joy in the moment. Motion forward is inevitable. It must be. You cannot help but move forward. You are not here as the quest to move forward. You can't not move forward. You are here to experience outrageous joy. That is why you are here. Jerry and Esther have a dear friend. They've been friends with this man for years and years. And he says to them, there's nothing important going on here. And it's his way of saying, no reason to get upset, no reason to worry, no reason to fret, no reason to fear. Nothing important going on, meaning there is no way that you can fail. There is nothing that can go wrong. The outcome of that which you are will continue to be extraordinarily wonderful. You think, oh, I could get sick, I could get run over by a truck, I could die. And we say, yes, many wonderful things like that could happen to you. Once you give up your fear of death and you accept your immortality, and you understand that you will never cease to be and that there will always be a powerful now, and the consciousness that is you will never end, and that it cannot turn out anything but wonderful, then maybe you will relax and say, there is nothing very important going on here. There is only an entire universe that has been established to point me toward a moment in time where I might experience some joy. That's what it is all about. And when you get joy-oriented, when joy becomes your quest, everything else falls into alignment. But just don't beat up on yourself if you are not right now, this red-hot minute, in outrageous joy. Celebrate the anger if it felt better than the depression. And then celebrate the frustration if it felt better than the anger. And then celebrate the annoyance if it felt better than that former aggravation. And then celebrate that little feeling of hopefulness that is beginning to sprout within you. And then celebrate that feeling of wondering if it could really happen that comes after that. And then celebrate that feeling of believing that it might come even though it hasn't come. And then celebrate the rendezvousing with the remarkable things that are coming. But don't beat up on yourself if you are in Yuma on your way to Phoenix.